Welcome, welcome. I'll make sure it's working first. And welcome. This is another installment of Kickback Talks and Weebs Chat. Everybody who's listening, uh, depending on how this goes, this might be the first installment we have on the podcast. Because the first episode or the first part of this segment, we didn't put it on there because there's way too much lag. But if this is a lot smoother, this will be the first one. And basically, if you don't know how it goes, the Kickback Talks and Weebs Chat, it's basically, an opportunity for past guests to come, chat it up, have a good conversation about different topics, of course. And if anybody that follows the Twitter or whatnot wants to join, they got that opportunity as well. Pretty cool time, pretty chill place. It's nothing too extraneous. And, if nobody shows up or if we don't, it's not something that's guaranteed every Wednesday. But when there is time, we'll have a chill time, chill discussion, of course. But it's by no means mandatory. I'm not gonna go out of my way. I'm the co-host RTL Faith. My other co-host Johnny Boy is busy working man, of course. Uh, I usually get off at these times, so I'm usually good for the most part. But yeah, if nobody is able to kind of be here, then I could talk for about an hour. I don't have any problem with that. Keep the conversation going, learn a little bit about myself. And if someone pops in, there's a link in the Discord on Google Hangouts. Just pop right in and, we can talk about different topics. But first things first, let me announce that we are live, of course, so everybody is good to go. Uh, I know quite a bit has been happening lately. 2020 has been a crazy year. I don't know if I've ever had a time to really talk about 2020. You know what I'm saying? It's just been it's just been kind of hectic in a sense. You feel me? Like for me, the first day of 2020 was legit chaos. That was the very first day. Absolute and utter chaos. And the chaos was the entire World War III stuff. Like, what? We just start January 1st, 2020 with World War III memes. People were legit scared that World War III was actually going to be a thing. And it was kind of like ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of ridiculous. And that's how we started off everything. Okay. Um but yeah, it's just weird when it comes down to it that we start off 2020 with a situation like that, and then we continue 2020, and we don't know what to expect for the most part. It's like, okay, we started pretty hectic. The politics of America is kind of weird and everything at that point, but you continue 2020 and you have just so much stuff going on. You feel me? You had things such as the coronavirus, which has really turned everything. You had the Ebola returning. You had the Black Lives Matter movement really elevating because of the George Floyd situation and all the protests where they were burning down buildings and massive protests in the midst of a pandemic. Like entire businesses were shutting down, and Like it was crazy, and now 2020 is still going on. There's still like a lot of stuff that other things that happen that it's so hard to kind of captivate everything. We got my the legend himself, like the only idol I've really had, and Kobe Bryant, and the tragedy that happened there, and other influential people such as like I know Pop Smoke went out. I know I'm pretty sure Nipsey was this year. Juice, you know, we had deaths of prominent figures. Then we have all that crap, and the weather is just as bad. Like for real, bro. Like the weather is just as bad. It's like horrible with the storms that just been going on constantly, and I'm like, damn, bro, damn. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. You can't really be mad. Well, of course you could be mad at it, but you can't stop with all the crap that's happening in the world. You can't really stop living your life, because if you do, and if you just contemplate what's going on and you live in that moment of despair, you know, if you start thinking to yourself that what's the point, start thinking dark thoughts, it ain't gonna help the situation. If anything, it's just gonna make you feel worse about stuff. You feel me? So it's like 2020 has done two things for people. One, it has really established to people that why are you doing what you're doing? Right? You're doing what you're doing, you live in life, and you're just not sure, why am I doing any of this? You feel me? Why am I working this job? Why am I doing this hobby? Maybe you're young and you're thinking, should I even do that specific career? Because in the darkest moments, humans reveal what they truly are. It's just a fact. It's just a fact, bro. Humans reveal what they truly are in the darkest moments. And that's not to say that not that's always a bad thing. But in a sense, you could really think to yourself, you can see the best of people, and you can see the worst of people at times like these. So it really gave you the opportunity to reevaluate your situation, your life, everything. Everything, bro. Legit everything. Cuz think about it like this. All right? Think about it like this if you're listening on the podcast, or if you're just rewatching this on YouTube. Think about it like this. We had all these impactful, like sad circumstances that happened to prominent figures. But that was impactful, so obviously that's going to take a stride in your heart and make you rethink, because a lot of these people died very young. You know what I'm saying? So you're like thinking, am I doing enough with my life to where when I'm done, my legacy will be fulfilled? Are you doing enough? Well, A, B, and C care when you're gone from existence, when you're gone from life. Will they really care? It's really something to think about, but people don't really think about it because they're constantly busy with life. Life is smacking them in the face every single day, so they don't think about what their legacy is doing at the moment. All they think about is what they have to do tomorrow. What do I have to do for my 9 to 5 tomorrow? What do I have to do for my next test tomorrow? What do I have to do for my kids, for my family, all for my friends, all that tomorrow? And that's not a bad thing. It just doesn't give you the opportunity to really contemplate life. You feel me? But not only that, not only have your all that happen with 2020, businesses are closing down. You can't go anywhere. What was it? Who said that? Is this open to everybody? Yeah, Pokesel. Yes, sir. But like, it's crazy to think about it at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I'm honestly for me, I've definitely I'm young. I'm not gonna tell you my age, but I'm a young adult, right? In my young years of life, I've lived quite a bit. I've experienced a bit, nothing traumatic, but a lot of things that are life changing and impactful, especially to someone as young as me, right? So I'm constantly kind of contemplating what the right course of action to do with my life. I've been doing that before, like, take out the this last 2020. Well, take out the last year starting today. Honestly, all I've been thinking about is how am I gonna do this, this is all I've been doing is planning out how I'm going to achieve success for my future. And like everything was in my grasp, everything was like there and it was obtainable for myself. But I realized after really, because of how my life is kind of orchestrated, there's like if it was like this 2020 is not the first time I had to take a step back and rethink life. It's just the longest time I had to do that, and it's the most important time. I think that's the proper way to say that. Most important time to evaluate life. But in my time, really thinking about all that, all those times I've gone through a situation that made me reevaluate how I'm perceiving life. There are times where I realize there could be a huge meaning or not a huge meaning. You know what I'm saying? Hello,
Hello.
what's up, folks? So what's up?
Nothing much. I've never used Google Hangouts.
It's pretty cool. Uh, you have you know it's very. I think that this is what they use in the Rank Cafe because it looks very similar to their setup, and it
Mhm.
doesn't have that lag issue when people are far
Oh, it
away.
doesn't?
No, not at all. So it's
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna start using Google Hangouts more, unless Discord is the only option. Because Discord can do stuff Google Hangouts can't, but when it
Hmm.
comes to a collaboration or maybe a live stream or something, probably Google Hangouts probably could be better in certain situations. But
Yeah, I mean anyone can use Google Hangouts because all it requires is a Google account.
yeah, and we all should have Google accounts since we're all YouTubers. You know what I'm saying? So
Uh huh.
no excuse at the end of the day. You don't have to go through the wire to make the Discord and everything. But yeah, Discord has its pluses, but its voice chat has been bugging lately, for real.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely probably because the increase in users recently.
That is a very strong possibility for sure. But for the most part, this is so I don't know if you're aware of how this goes. So this is like a new segment that we're trying out on the podcast. It doesn't necessarily
Hmm.
gonna happen every week, but it's usually gonna be on Wednesdays late evenings. We did our first one last week. We had a few people in here. Uh, there wasn't going to be this one today, but because of how life is, my plans got canceled. So I might as I just pop this one on. Might as well. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I was just talking to myself for the most part. I was talking about life,
Hmm.
big life things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, but how you been, folks? So what you been up
I've
to?
been pretty. I've been pretty good for sure. A lot of stuff happening at the moment for sure as well, though, which is a big thing.
Fair enough.
Currently, I'm calling from Japan, technically, according to my internet.
Okay,
Um,
VPN,
yeah, VPN.
VPN. VPNs are very necessary for sure, especially once you start getting like bigger and more well
Yeah.
known. You definitely need a VPN. People will try to take your stuff.
Hmm.
That's a fact. Uh,
Yep.
yeah. Honestly, people kind of naive at certain things about how dangerous. Like the surface internet is only a small percentage of what the real internet is. The,
Oh yeah, for sure.
like if you're listening back onto this, if you haven't heard of the deep web, I highly recommend at least figuring out what it is. Now, I'm not telling you to go to it, uh, but at least knowing what it is the first step to not being ignorant about the internet. Cause yo, I think I don't know if this is fact, but I'm pretty sure the internet we use is only like 10% of the entirety of what the internet encapsulates, something
The
like
people
that.
realize they're using PayPal. It's easy to get your bank info. Like I haven't done it, but like it just happened to me. Somebody just bought Uber Eats using my account.
Yeah, bro.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
like they could do crazy stuff in the deep web. That's why for me, because of all the things I've been through, like I have securities on, I have like multiple verification on everything that requires money for me. So it's like my personal information, money, any of that stuff, double, triple verification. It gets annoying sometimes when you forget your password and you have to go to multiple steps to get your information back. But at the end of the day, you know, it's worth the risk. You don't want people stealing your information, taking your money.
Hmm.
But even deeper than that is a part of the internet is known as the dark web. And the dark web is something nobody should go on ever. And I mean, you could go on YouTube and probably look at videos about the dark web. And honestly, like, it's crazy that people know that this stuff exists, but seeing it firsthand, how evil humanity can be because of things such as the dark web, it's a real eye opener. So if you can't
Yeah.
take it, don't look at it, but don't be ignorant at the same time when it comes to it.
100%. Also, tip for the bags: don't use one password for everything.
Also true. Also very, very true.
I've had to come up with like 40 passwords in the last 10 minutes, repasswording all my accounts.
Yeah, like I have a thing where I have like so many passwords, but I'm still constantly changing it. Yeah, you gotta make sure to keep your stuff secured at the end of the day, because I know there's
Yeah.
hackers. They put in it's kind of like an algorithm. I don't know if it's the algorithm thing or automatic, like it's some type of AI type thing where it just
Hmm.
automatically pulls out millions of passwords until it gets the right ones. And yeah, the people go far lengths. Yeah, we all know who Anonymous is. I wouldn't say they're crazy. I'm not gonna disres. I don't. I'm pretty neutral when it comes to Anonymous, but you don't want people like Anonymous coming after you, trying to get your information for sure.
I don't believe hacking's right ever, honestly. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think hacking is right. So I don't approve of the active hacking because I know if I got hacked, how bad I would be. But
Hmm.
at the same time, I do see the benefits because I know even the government, CIA, they do hacking as well to find the criminals. So it's
Oh yeah, true.
there is positives. There is a lot of negatives, but there is positives at the end of the day. And but the group anonymous, like I can't really tell if they're like good or bad because of what they do. But they're definitely like the vigilante type you see in comic books, from what we see.
Okay. Yeah, I have no comment because I don't know too much what they've done. I only know of one thing,
Well, I
and
think
that was one of the more recent things that they've done.
you're talking about the them exposing all the like important figures on the
No, I mean hacking into the police websites.
oh yeah, they've done that. I remember
I don't
them.
know a lot of the stuff they've done though, which is the thing.
I mean, yeah, they do quite a bit of stuff like that. One of the things I do remember that happened this year was they hacked some information and pulled out an information about, I think it was it Harvestein Harpstein Epstein, I forget, the political figure that is accused for doing very bad stuff to people, young people to be more
Oh,
specific.
Epstein.
Epstein. I think that was him. So they got the information about when he was on a plane, and they found out that who everybody that was on that private jet who was on there, and they leaked that information. Everybody was kind of sketched out because you saw names such as Chris Rock on there, and Will Smith was on there, and they were like, "Yo, were they involved? Were they involved?" So it was kind of a
It's
sketchy
hard.
theory.
It's hard to know. It's like I don't think it's right for us to just make the assumption that those people were involved with the things that he was doing. But it's definitely it looks weird. But it's definitely a weird topic. I know a little bit about Epstein, mostly because it became a meme. Like the whole Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that's really all I know. But off of top politics, I don't know.
Well,
It's it's a touchy subject. So
it is. It is at the end of the day. Politics. I enjoy talking about politics, but it is one of those things. Politics, religion. I'm half joking, half not joking, and anime when it comes to certain things can be really,
mhm.
really rage-inducing topics.
I think
Very.
it depends on the person you're talking with too. Like especially like if they have the same opinions as you, then it will never be rage inducing. But even if they have different opinions, some people can won't get offended or won't enjoy talking about without getting very rage induced.
Yeah, but
But
there.
more so with anime than politics. Usually everybody's in rage when it comes to politics.
Yeah, it's either you're on one side or the other when it comes to politics. Very similar to religion.
Mhm.
You're either one side or the other. Anime, I mean, I was like I said, I was half joking, but there is a lot of situations where like certain fans of certain series will go off. You say something bad about their series, and they'll go off on you. They'll threaten to beat you up or stuff like that. I was like, bruh, this
Luffy's a good main character, but can he beat Goku?
yeah, like, of course not. These dudes made out of rubber. Goku can blow up a planet. Come on, let's relax now. Like, honestly,
Yeah, I totally agree with you when it comes to that. There's a lot of toxic individuals inside the anime community.
yeah. Like, just
Um,
recently, we did a podcast episode about anime debates, the positives and negatives. And one thing we all agreed on is power scaling debates when it comes to comparing different series never, ever, ever make sense. Ever. Like, it's just so
Uh,
bad.
I don't know if I'd agree necessarily with that. I think that they can be fun to do, and sometimes you can make them make sense. But I definitely agree with you where it's usually going to turn out toxic. You know?
Yeah, I mean, when it gets bad, like I'm I like power scaling sometimes. Like I liked it more when I was younger, but after seeing so many toxic people how they use it, it gets annoying. Is when they try to apply, or one is when they make up calculations based on things that just don't make sense. Like you can't compare the
Hmm.
speed of light in the real world to the speed of light in One Piece because they do not quantify the same way. It just doesn't work that way. But
Yeah.
they act like it. They know what they're talking about. I was like, it just doesn't work that way, bro. And I know that Death Battle does, their own power scaling stuff, but they do it for fun. They're just making an entertaining video. They're not gonna rage if they are wrong. You know,
Hmm.
I don't get that from Screw Attack and Death Battle, but the people who hate death battles, and in the comment section go like, "Yo, are you kidding me?" Blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's like, oh, jeez, it's not that
Yeah.
serious.
I like the whole Naruto versus Ichigo debate.
Yeah, people were
Every,
pissed about that.
it's either people say like Naruto wins or they'll say Ichigo wins. But some of the Bleach stands, listen, I would say that Ichigo would win at the end of the day. But some of the Bleach fans, when they're trying to defend Ichigo, they'll say, "Oh, well, guess what? Naruto can't see Ichigo because he doesn't have blah blah blah." When
Yeah,
you're power scaling, you can't use that because one, Naruto has seen ghosts in his universe, so when you're combining the two, it makes sense for him to see ghosts in the Shinigami and stuff,
yeah,
And two, it wouldn't be like right. There would be stuff in the Naruto universe too that would instantly kill Ichigo because he doesn't have the protection against it.
exactly. Like,
Like it would just be whichever universe. Like you could grab a universe that's full of toxic gas that the humans have evolved to the point where they can breathe it, and say, "Oh, well, if you put these two guys together, then the other character wouldn't be able to survive because the poison gas or whatever."
yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah.
A lot of those are which are really annoying are like technicality arguments. They find some
Hmm.
technicality that is technically right, but has no purpose to be in the argument and it really doesn't prove or disprove anything. But they aren't wrong, so
Yeah.
you can't say they're wrong. So it's just annoying. So it is a cheap. I know people in debates use it, and it is a cheap trick sometimes. I personally don't like using technicality arguments because it's not fun. I just want to talk about logic at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. When it comes to debates and whatnot. Um, I saw that
For
Pokesel.
sure.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. Oh man, I think what was I thinking about just before? I was thinking about the idea of secret organizations because I remember there are quite a bit. Anonymous is one secret organization. There is quite a bit, and there's a lot of secrets in the world that people don't know but want to know. Like I before I eventually leave the planet Earth, of course. Hey, if I can get into the Vatican and read those Vatican archives, I would love to. I probably would die trying, but I would still like to. At the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's that's why conspiracy theories exist in the world.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of secret places. The Vatican City and the Vatican archives. You can't really do certain things. You can't read them, unless you're the Pope. Very similar to the Area 51. You can't go in there unless you have certain military clearance. So
Mhm.
it makes sense. And I think there's a secret organization with the richest people in the world. They got a secret organization as well that obviously, if you got to be like Bill Gates or uh, Jeff Bezos to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are actually running the world, not the governments, by the way. The billionaires, they run the world. Fun thought. Oh, jeez.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's kind of how economy works in a sense. If you really think about it, it's the billionaires that are providing the jobs. It's the and not saying that the billionaires aren't corrupt, you know. Of course some are gonna be, but they do provide the jobs, they own the businesses. Um, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. At the end of the day,
So
the billionaires do run it. Again, half joking, half not. They do.
mhm.
They
It's a
do have.
mixture because they are responsible most of the time for how you get your money. Are the billionaires and the millionaires because they're the ones that run the businesses that bring you your paycheck. The only exception would be government paid jobs.
Yeah,
Um, People who
but
work for the government. But yeah, they do and they kind of don't. It's a mix of the both.
yeah. If
And yeah.
if you really want to know how like all this stuff properly works, and you when you're heading into college, definitely you got to learn about you. If you have a dedicated major, go for that. But if you want to learn a little bit, learning about politics is very important to kind of see how the world works. You know, a lot of people have ideas, but they don't know exactly how it knows how to work. So when it comes to stuff such as healthcare, when it comes to like how the the government works and how much control they actually have, and the checks and balances and
Hmm.
stuff like that, and how why we can't just take the money from the rich. There's a reason why. It's just not that simple. Yo, take all their money. Yeah, it's not that simple. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it's not that simple. Um, because if you think about it, I'm trying to make it make sense to people. If the government ups and decides to increase taxes for the rich, the millionaires, the billionaires, all they have to do is leave. It's really that
Hmm.
simple.
They can
The,
move to a country where they don't get taxed as much.
exactly. So you gotta, there's a fine line where a lot of these billionaires and millionaires have companies in other countries already, but
Hmm.
it's America, so we already know why they're here. So you gotta hit the fine line of taxing them enough, because they're still taxed more than normal people, but tax them enough to where they don't get mad enough to leave. It sucks, but it's
And
just what
then,
it
but
is.
the same thing is they do provide. I'm not gonna say my opinion on the taxing thing, but they do provide a large percentage of the jobs that us Americans have. Like
Yeah,
if we just start taxing them, guess who's gonna be the first to go? They're
exactly,
workers. If we just start raising their taxes to the extreme, then America's unemployment rate will raise.
exactly.
Like I think it's pretty basic logic to put two and two together.
Yeah,
That being said, I don't believe that they shouldn't be taxed. I believe they're just like every other citizen. They should be taxed depending on uh, what they do, like depending on how, etc.
yeah. Well, eventually
But let's.
you're gonna learn about there's two different ways people in the American this is the last political thing, by the way. Last thing. Um Two
Thank
different
goodness.
ways you could
I don't
tax
want to.
people. Uh, it's either you tax at an even rate where everybody gets taxed the same percentage, or
Mhm.
you tax based on income, where if you have a higher income, you get more percentage of tax, lower percentage, stuff like that. So there's even like a huge like argument thought process of how that should be handled, because I'm pretty sure right now we have it in the sense that it depends on your income, but there are a lot of
It
people.
does.
So it's like even that's touchy. Honestly, even that's touchy. But
Well, the big thing is right now, there's ways to cut your taxes down as a business.
yeah,
For
obviously,
example, donating money to charity will reduce how much taxes a billionaire will have to pay. So
for
oftentimes they'll
sure.
do a massive donation to charity. I think having a number of workers also reduces how much money you pay to the government, as those
Yep.
workers are also going to be paying taxes, which I think makes sense. I mean, you're providing income for a bunch of people that are helping America in a sense. So yeah, it's a touchy subject for sure.
For sure.
That's why I said I'm not going to give my opinion on how much they should be taxed or the format, because if I choose one side, then the other side will come rushing against you. You know,
Hey, it is
which
what
is
it is. Um, but I understand that. I mean, I don't really. I mean, I don't mind at the end of the day. I'm pretty neutral, so it's hard for me to have a strong stance on one thing. Like, I don't even have a strong stance on that. I just know I like to be informed about what's going on, and I have ideas, but I
same.
don't like have a strong stance. Like, oh, I'm gonna this, and I'm not gonna. Yeah, that's not me. If you could find some logical reasoning, then I'll listen to it. But I have to know at the very least both sides pretty evenly.
Hmm. I've abandoned both parties when it comes to politics, which actually makes more people hate you overall. But I think both have views that I don't agree with necessarily.
Yes,
So yeah.
I just said yes. Yeah, I completely agree for sure. I'm pretty independent as well when it comes down to it. Despite me being a political science major, even though yeah, you could be a policy major and still be pretty independent. I know a few people that because
Mhm.
when you learn about politics, you kind of change how you are a little bit, how everything really works. I was also a philosophy major, and let me tell you, philosophy is very interesting to talk about, especially if you're willing to open your mind up about how the world really works. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
the poke,
Philosophy is fun
yeah,
because you never know what's 100% right necessarily, and that's what's great about it, I feel like.
I completely agree. Why don't you tell us what you think about philosophy real quick? I'm gonna use the bathroom. All right, I am back. It looks like Pokesol headed out. Probably was busy with something, but yes, sir, I'm back. We got about 20 minutes left for Kickback Talks on Weebs Chat. I try to use the bathroom before I do these things. But even if you were the most oh, my
Sorry,
man Pokeson's
think
back.
about- my thing broke.
You said you disconnected, your thing broke.
Uh huh.
You're good, you're good. Um but philosophy, you know how it be. A lot of people in the anime community love talking about philosophy with it because there's something about how the Japanese do their their stories. It's always very meaningful, even in sports. It's just how they do their sports anime. It just has more influence and not influence, but more meaning and impact compared to normal sports. It just the way they tell their stories is just so interesting. At the end of the day, do you have an opinion on that, real quick, Pokesel? All right, my man Pokesel is again broken. But to go off of that a little bit more, we got two. We got two Pokesels now.
Guess you couldn't get enough of me.
Oh, now we got two. All right, all right. But I was just talking about how the Japanese, how they kind of tell their story is always it just seem is more meaningful compared
Hmm.
to other mediums I've seen so far. Like Americans, they can hey Americans can put meaning in their story. They're very good at it. I mean, but they're kind of a little bit more in your face, and especially like the only cartoons I really watch anymore. A lot of the cartoons I watch, there's always like hidden humor. It's always humorous. It's always satiric. You know, whereas like anime, they're just
Yeah,
focused on more meaningful stuff. But hey, at the end of the day, they're both entertaining in their own ways, though.
for sure. Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. When it comes to Japanese media, there's definitely always a hidden message. Whether that message is correct or not, it's truly up to you as an individual. Um, which philosophies you believe in. I was gonna say this, but I think it might have cut me off. Is how every philosophy to the extreme is wrong and doesn't work. For example, humanitarian believes that they should help humans no matter what, other humans, human beings around them. But what happens if you help other humans around you so much that you forget to care about yourself and your own family, and you run out of money to take care of your own son? For example, it's especially shown in Tokyo Ghoul with his mother, Ken Kaneki's mother, how she basically nearly abandons herself and her son in the long run
Yeah.
in order to help their aunt because she had the humanitarian philosophy to the extreme. I think that's what's so cool about philosophy is um, every philosophy has somewhat of a flaw to it,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's it's definitely cool to see how it works and moves.
Oh yeah. That's a fact. Like philosophical theories are always nice to talk about, but it's like Poxel said here. It's like they always have some type of flaw with it that makes it hard to completely invest your entire life into. I when I was at my other college, I had a my philosophical professor. I think I had two, but one was an existentialist, and he was a adamant existentialist. Like he would make his words very well known, but he was a nice dude at the end of the day. But he hated Trump.
Hmm.
He hated Trump a lot, and he hated everything that he had to say. He was very vocal about what he was saying. Whether that's right or wrong, it's completely up to the person. But he embodied his philosophy. Well, it's never you can't say it's the truest right at the end of the day because existentialism. At the end of the day, let me. I haven't done that in a little bit because I know nihilism is the idea that the world means nothing, everything means nothing. Existentialism means like, what's the difference again? I'm not, all right. I'm gonna have to take my smartness cap up and use Google. It's been so long since I had to write existentialist papers and whatnot. Um,
Yeah.
but philosophical. I also say this: writing for a philosophy class is so much easier than writing for an English class. That is facts. Because there's no, they don't really care about your grammar; they just care about what you're saying. Um, okay. It says a philosophical theory or approach which emphasizes the existence of the individual person as a free, responsible agent, determining their own development through acts of the will. I remember him saying it's very similar to like, yeah, it encapsulates the idea of free will to the T. I remember that for sure. But yeah, at the end of the day, I what I like doing personally is creating philosophical theories about why things happen in the world, because they're always fun. Although you don't technically have to be right, if you have some logic to what you're saying, people can believe you. I did something similar to where I think the origins of morality come from, and the origins of God comes from. Now, I'm not going to talk about the God one at all because I'm not going to offend anybody, but it's definitely fun to think about at the end of the day, for sure. Uh, so we got another 13 minutes. You know, we do these kickback talks and weave chats for about an hour, give or take, unless something extreme happens at the end of the day, of course.
Okay,
Uh,
I'm back.
what's up? What's up? What's up? So I was talking about what was I saying? What was I saying? I liked I the thing I like most about philosophy, other than like
Hmm.
having good conversations about different theories that already exist, is I like creating my own theory in a sense about why certain things happen or took
Yeah.
place. Um, like I've done it. I created my own philosophical theory about the origins of God. I created my
Mhm.
own on the origins of fear and the origins of morality, stuff like that. It's fun at the end of the day. Whether you're right or wrong
Yep.
doesn't matter. It's not real, but it's fun.
Morality is a very big topic when it comes to philosophy because your morality makes up what your philosophies are. Um, what philosophies you truly believe in at the end of the day. I believe it was Somali in the Forest Spirit, an anime that depicted what makes up your morality in the long run. And what it basically states is that morality, what's right and wrong, is based on um, what emotions you have. What's your purpose for life? Those are all dictated at the end of the day by emotions. And that's why the golem didn't really have a sense of morality. He just had the most objective and quickest answer to everything. When oftentimes that would actually make things worse. And that's why once he started becoming more human, once he started showing signs of emotion, only then did he truly go after a purpose and truly start having philosophies. Now, beforehand, he did have a few philosophies. Can't remember the names of them, but there's a philosophy that means that emotion doesn't matter. That emotion is a waste of time and a waste of space. That'd kind of be the philosophy I think he'd fall under. Um,
Initially, yeah, I would agree. Um,
but yeah.
yeah, I very much agree when it comes to how morality works and its entanglement with emotions and feelings and
Hmm.
whatnot. Because at the end of the day, even though morality can be touchy, emotions aren't. You can't argue your emotion. You know,
For sure.
you either
You can
feel this
try
emotion,
to,
you can try to
yeah,
deny
you
it.
can try to hide. Yeah, yeah, you can try to deny it, similar to what many people go through these days. Genie Chimaru from Bleach, great example of somebody who had to pretend he had no emotion, he had to discard his emotion in order to blend in and to gain Aizen's trust in the Bleach universe.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, like people who argue that morality is subjective in the sense that you can't call this good or you can't call this evil because it's societal standards. Like, true, that is true in a sense, for sure, obviously. But one thing, unless you're like how you were raised, unless how you were raised was raised in a sense
uh,
that uh it kind of took away your emotions and kind of twisted them in a sense, unless you were pretty much, what's the word, conditioned differently, then obviously your sense of morality will be twisted. I.e., the Joker. He's a perfect example. But not everybody's the Joker, ladies and gents. Not everybody's the Joker.
Yeah. One thing that though is that your morality makes up what you believe is right or wrong. It doesn't make up what the world thinks is right or wrong. Hence why we do have like laws and stuff, because every different person would believe differently on what is right and wrong. So hence why a democracy, I guess. Uh, well, we're not a democracy, but you get the point.
Yeah,
Why it's
societal
very
standards are necessary because if you didn't have them, chaos will ensue. You need to.
it's a mix. I personally believe it's a mix of the two, and that's my
For America,
philosophy,
it
I guess.
is. For America, it is, yeah.
Uh-huh. But I believe it should be a mix of the two, no matter what. Where there should be societal norms, but they shouldn't take complete over your actions. If that makes sense, you should still make your actions clear and be yourself. You should still be who you are, which is actually going to be in one of my upcoming videos on why that's important, but how we shouldn't completely disregard society as a whole when it comes to norms like laws and stuff. But we should ignore things like people saying that you should try to pretend you have no emotion, which is very common. And it's a common thing that people like to tell men is that you can't show your emotion, that you have to stay strong in front of everyone.
Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, you gotta find. The world will tell you something, and they'll give you hints, they'll give you clues, they'll even tell you what to do and give you orders. But at the end of the day, you as a person, as you grow, you got to keep true to who you are and take in everything, but don't retain everything. Kind of mix it
Mhm.
around, keep what's necessary and let out what everything else. Just like breathing, breathing analogy. Let in the oxygen, breathe out the carbon dioxide. You feel me? But yeah,
Yeah, it's really cool though how like the world works, because even us as humans, if we do something too much, it's wrong, mentally and physically. If you drink too much water, you drown yourself from the inside. You know,
yeah,
if you eat too much, that will have consequences. Pretty much anything too much has consequences, and I believe that's the same for philosophies. Like I said earlier, every philosophy to the extreme, too much of that could lead to true destruction in a sense.
yeah. I mean, that's why perfection doesn't exist, ladies and
Mhm.
gents. That is why perfection does not exist. Um, before we're ending a little bit, we're ending soon, but one thing I just did recently that I said I was doing, and I did it, is I did reacting to TikToks before it's banned. That's the video title.
Ew.
Anime TikToks, though. Only anime TikToks. But let me tell you, 80% of it was straight garbage. Straight
I knew it.
garbage. Like, they were not good TikTok. They were not good things that I wanted to watch with my eyes. They were so cringy. They were so weird. They were so disgusting. Like,
What were you expecting?
hey, I'm just hey. I don't really watch TikTok, and I knew it was really cringy. I was hoping I would get some good anime TikToks, but I saw something that made me laugh. I saw one that the dude was like, it's like a game thing. Do you want to get transported to an anime? Do you want to get transported to the anime world? He said yes. Do you want to get transported to Naruto? If you die, you die in real life. He said yes. And when he showed up, Pain was already there. So that was hilarious. That was funny because we already know what Pain does. So that was a funny situation for sure. Another good one was uh why am I blanking? See, there's so many bad ones that it's hard to remember the good ones. Oh, what one more good one is on Haikyuu they have the cutscenes where they're practicing their serves for volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
So one dude reenacted that, and he actually used a real life volleyball net, and he made it look pretty much perfect to the anime cutscenes. So and he made the camera flip.
Live action.
Yeah, so that
Oh,
was good too. So that was good too. But most of them was high Q cringe. A lot of high Q cringe. Hisoka cringe. A lot of Hisoka cringe. Like it was like, bro, y'all know Hisoka. Y'all know what Hisoka is about, right? But hey,
shh, don't tell them that.
hey, it is what it is. But yeah,
Stop reminding them.
it was very cringy, and a lot of it was not creative. And I'm
Mhm.
not gonna be upset when TikTok disappears, but it's a good title, right? It's a good title. You know what
Yep. In fact, I'm gonna party when it disappears.
I'm
The
saying?
only downside is that everybody that's big on TikTok is gonna come running to YouTube.
Yeah, but not a lot of them are going to survive because you need creativity to stay on YouTube.
Oh wow, exposed. RTL believes nobody on TikTok has creativity. And I just realized this. If you go to youtube.com and your location is Japan, because as you know, I moved to Japan, it has a JP next to YouTube.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, YouTube is from America, so it makes sense they would have the JP. So, hey, if TikTok was
Yeah.
from America, it wouldn't get banned. That's all I'm saying. That's how America works. If it was from America, it wouldn't get banned. So, uh, well, I just can't wait for the next big thing at the end of the day. I mean, we had Vine, we had TikTok. So what's going to be next? What's going to be next on the board? Mix. There's so many things that died this year too. Mixer died, which was a huge Xbox streaming service. I was a streamer on Mixer, bro. I had over 400 followers and counting. Now I'm gonna go on Twitch. Now I got like 16 followers. The grind has to restart. You know what I'm saying? But it is what
Yep.
it is. But I'm probably gonna play
Hey,
a lot
it's your
of NBA
on
2K.
you for using Mixer.
It was I have an Xbox. Xbox is with Mixer. It just made it easy. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
I know what you mean. It's easier to do that on Xbox. And inside the Kickback chat, I just want to post that guy named Brandon. That's totally not my account. Definitely not the same profile picture. Definitely
yeah.
not me. It says, "OMG, that Pokesal guy is really smart." Why, thank you. I think I am very intelligent. I have a dumb high IQ of 189.
Oh
That's
snap!
really high.
Super high, bro. Super high. Hey,
Super.
but yeah, we are coming to a close. This was another installment of Kickback Talks and Weebs Chat. I probably we didn't. I didn't post the first episode of the segment on the podcast distribution stuff because the lag was super bad on Discord. Now I'm using Google
Mhm.
Hangouts. So much more clean. It's so much better. So yeah, I'm gonna probably post the this one on the podcast thing, and we'll see how it goes for sure. And make sure you guys are here Saturday if you are listening, because this Saturday we're talking about different podcast platforms and anime podcast platforms. Just talk about podcasts. We got Kickback, as you know, and then we'll have the Geek Ire podcast, and we'll have Weeb Signal there as well.
The Weeb Signal podcast, aka the greatest podcast of all time. I am not biased. I just believe it to be truly true. I mean, you don't have to ask me. You can also ask that guy named Tyler Doe. He's pretty intelligent too when it comes to podcast taste.
Right, right. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, they're second to Kickback, of course. You know what I'm saying? But this is Kickback Talks and Weeb Chats. We will be ending it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.